Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to realMyst Masterpiece Edition. So, we had to find a device to write down these dates because that is a lot of information to know. October 11th, 1984, 10:04 we've already done, but we needed January 17th, 12:07, 5:46 a.m. and November 23rd, 9,791, 6:57 p.m. And so I'm using the flashlight here. If you put the flashlight directly on it, you can't see. It's too bright. If you do it slightly to the side, you can see. If you have it off, it's too dark. What a weird lighting system this game has devised for itself in this new version. With this level of lighting, I'm not sure it deserves to call itself a masterpiece edition. If it was a piece of art painted too darkly, lit poorly, that wouldn't be a masterpiece in my mind. It's the only playable edition of Myst by modern standard on modern computers. Really, you could play Myst Masterpiece Edition and struggle through some really old graphics if you wanted to. What's really weird though is why couldn't they just put the original game in there with just snapshots? They kind of have a mixture of both, and I guess it makes sense not to confuse the market even more by having a third way to play this game. So I'm effectively playing the original game with the new art assets already. So we need to go back here. Again, time is playing a factor. So the first one is January 17, 12:07, 5:46 a.m. That's right. So the only thing that this looks like that it might be is the snake. And I bet if we took a moment and went back to the library, we would find some evidence to prove this. The extra hints in this game are pretty much all on this bookshelf. So if we clicked through all these books without actually reading them until we saw something that felt like it was a hint for what we're doing right now. Yeah, here we are. So if we saw that combination, that would be an anchor. This combination does look like the snake. This is what the eye would be, okay. This is what the tarantula would be. This is what the cross would be. This is what the arrow would be. And this is what the leaf would be. So we now know that the second symbol is the snake. We got that little bit of help. It's a strange way to do puzzles by today's modern standards of making puzzle games. Having to go to 3 separate areas that you could easily miss and then turn that around. It's about time to fall to darkness again, unfortunately. We spent 30 minutes plus of last recording in darkness, and that is not how I want to play the game, but I don't know if I can avoid it. I can't spend an hour break between every recording, and exactly an hour. So the third date, now that I have it written down, is interesting for its year. It's set in the year of 9791, which opens the door of the possibility that whatever time it is could be far in the future compared to where we are. Of course, this also might be going backwards, so it could be that it's BC type thing, BCE, before Common Era. Could be that it's on a completely different calendar, but if it was a completely different calendar, that explains nothing as far as the dates. In fact, none of this makes any sense unless this is Earth. January is named after the Greek god Janus. February, let's see, I can't name them all, but most of them are named after religious thoughts in Earth's culture. The numbers are Roman numeral, are not Roman numerals, they're, I think, Greek numerals. I don't remember what they were. I should know these things before I start saying things. But the point is, if it was all its own language, then it would have, that would make sense considering they're different worlds. But obviously humans, or Earthlings, have at least visited this land. So this is November 23rd. 9791 6:57 p.m. Now, this being the time that you see the constellation makes no sense also. That would be very weird, that you have to go thousands and thousands of years to see a constellation. But it's possible. So what does this look like to me? It looks maybe like the bug. We'll go see which of the third ones it is. Like I said last recording, it would be pretty easy just to brute force this. We just have to click everything once. I don't think I saw an ostrich, so that seems like a red herring in the first place. I doubt it's the cross. I doubt it's the arrow. So, spider or anchor? I'll go with spider. And we hear something. And we can't turn around. Oh. So if you look here now, we have the boat is sitting on top of the water instead of being sunken. And as we're losing light, this boat over here is no longer sunken too. So down and down we go to the boat. Maybe if we travel to a new land, we'll get the sun back. I doubt it. Now, I believe if we switch to free roam mode for a moment, there's an achievement we can try and get ourselves. Let's see. To get up to this crow's nest. But I could be wrong. Could be rather wrong about that. It could be there's another boat, because there most certainly is another boat. And I just don't see. Without a jump, it doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem likely that I'd be able to get to that crow's nest. Wait. Well, I'm rather high and close to it, but is that good enough? Obviously no animation there or anything. So maybe that was Maybe that was what was needed to get near the crow's nest, or maybe it wasn't. We'll see. If it wasn't, at least we have a general idea on what to do. Let's go back, and so back to classic Myst style movement. We just click here, we just click here, we open this door, and in here is just this chair and a Myst linking book to a new world. Nothing else. So every single one of these things is just a magical like lock to the book. The books are so valuable that they've built these great contraptions just to get you, just to protect them. Protect them from whom? Who knows? Really, I mean, we haven't seen any other people. We've seen some animals. I'm surprised we even saw animals, birds flying around, but it's hardly seems like it's a dangerous place. Here we can see a lighthouse and a dark, rainy place, and I think it might be dark and rainy the whole time we get there anyways, if it's going to show us dark and raininess to begin with. So let's go. We should cheat a little bit here and save the game so we know what the name of this age is. Yeah, dark and rainy. Flashlight. Immediately. Stoneship. So that's a good way to figure out where we are and what we're doing. We can't click here because there's water there. The ship is flooded. Here we can see this thunderstorm. These elements make sense that it would be dark and rainy and you'd be stuck in a thunderstorm. That it's not illogical, it's just darn hard to see when you do things like this. Usually movies, games try to fake it. They fake it in a way where even if it's supposed to be pitch black outside, it's actually very bright. Here's another area down there that we can't go down. Here's a key that's tied to a chain. If you can see that. And there's a lock. And since I can't like walk down, I can't see what the chain is connected to. Let's look. Something out there, and this is a window that you're walking through. So the world is kind of designed, however, with that in mind. At least it is now. Maybe this was a pirate ship that was designed to be stuck in rocks. It feels like. Because the rocks would have rotted a lot more if the wood here would have rotted completely through. If it had truly crashed onto a rock and this was all new stone, that like volcanic stone or something. We got the light bulb here giving off a little bit of light. I'm looking for a crow's nest in case there's another one to go for. In case that wasn't the one achievement. I don't think it is. That's the case. I think that was the achievement. When we look here, we have different angles we can pointed at. Like 110 shows us this. 135 shows us this. 155 shows us this. 185 shows us that. Now, right about now, I should be facing in the exact opposite direction of where I was standing. 0 degrees. There's a lot of rock outcrops. Again, it feels like this is going to be a rotation puzzle. Have I somehow managed to play the game in such a fashion that I do all the rotation puzzles back to back? I swear that's not every puzzle in Myst. So we could hit this button, but it doesn't do anything. Like, I'm trying to hit that button and it's not doing anything. Alright. So it's standard operating procedure here. We are wandering around trying to find what buttons we can press and how we should press them. This looks like an umbrella with 3 buttons. Interesting. Let's start with this. Yellow. Well, that certainly sounds like a pump. Alright. So did I just pump the water out of a certain area? Yes, I did. Interesting. We have this green, and here we can see there's these metallic compasses all on these, and we can see some fish on the outside, a little bit of life. It's nice that there is life. That was one problem. I felt the witness was just lacking life for no real reason. Seemed like a blatantly obvious thing you could have done in the witness was have birds, animals of some sort. I'm trying to click on all of these. Like, should I click on every square? I'm trying to click on each one of these round things because they look like buttons, but doesn't seem like they are. Best as I can tell, there's nothing here. And because I'm staying in the classic Myst mode, it's helping direct me this way. If I break out of that, kind of wish there was a just toggle button that I could hit. I can come down over here. Is there anything over here though? Not really. Feels like there should be more Easter eggs if I can break out in free roam mode. That's the only one that doesn't have a thing on it. And I assume this whole area doesn't get flooded. It's just the area past the doorway that does. Yeah, you can see little drains here. So this world just gets flooded all the time. Let's go back to classic Myst mode. kind of wish the WASD still worked in classic Myst mode. There's no reason for it to not work. It would just, instead of walking you a little bit, it would move you to the next screen completely. We'll go ahead, ignore it, and walk away and see if it drained this area now. No. So it didn't drain that area, it must have drained a different area. We can look here and see the water is back. So apparently the pump only has enough room for one room's worth of water, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it seems like a world that it is constantly raining in. Wait, these lights should be on so much. Well, found something. Let's go in it. We've got this. This looks like a compass. So is that the way I came in? Seems like there might be specific points. I think this is the way I came in. It would be a lot of work to ask to have me click on each one of the ones that had a rock formation. Like, that seems like that would be too much work. It's not too much work to sit here and click on them all of them to see maybe if one of them actually was right, but right now it seems like nothing works. Maybe there's some trick here where we have to enter a flooded area. Let's start over again. Let's see, we're coming in through this way, walk this way, down one step, down a second step, all the way down to this point where you see the long area, and then from that there is no other area, and here's the drains, so one of those must go to a different section. Interesting. And so this is like a bedroom now. We saw a throne room before, now we're seeing a bedroom, and we're getting that Myst music, which tells me we've probably found the opulent bedroom of the rich brother. I just picked up a piece of paper and look at these cloths and fabrics and dishware, because you put cloths and fabrics and dishware in the same drawer. And looks like puzzle games. And yep, I've got a red page. Now it doesn't matter if I have a red page or if I pick up the blue page. Right now, so let's turn off this and look at this globe. Does this globe look like Earth? Not really. I need to find the exit. Ah, there is one achievement here though, I know. We gotta break out in the free roam again and jump on the bed. Maybe this isn't the bed that you're supposed to jump on. One of them you're supposed to jump on, but it doesn't seem like that's the one. I read them, but I didn't particularly watch somebody else do them, so we'll probably run into another bed somewhere. Notice this looks like a completely different world also. No, I don't want to spin that. I want to go this way. So, one of the things about the toys in this game is they're kind of almost just like engine demonstrations. Like, we've been wandering around a world with magic for sure, but what's the magic behind this? Can you just create whatever you want? Does this really feel like something that should connect to this universe and make sense? It really doesn't. It's just there because, and that's it. It's because somebody could, with the engine at the time, do something that looks that good, which it's really not that cool looking by today's standards. Alright. So if this is that, I just need to figure out what the is over here. And then interesting. This is a totally different way that must start on a different section or something. Ah, it does. It starts here. And so it's probably one brother's entrance versus the others. These brothers seem to have to share everything and not really want to, I would guess. It's a like Cain and Abel style story, although not exactly Cain and Abel. So we could go to, like, here's the blue paper right here. We can go into free roam mode again and see if we can jump on this bed. I will keep trying it until I jump on somebody's bed. There we go. I imagine that's the achievement there. So I may jump on other people's bed for just the fun of it, but I think I've already got the achievement. It's amazing that it can snap you into the right, into any correct place. So, creepy skull. We have a red, green, yellow, red, or red, green, white, red. If that's some kind of combination we need to memorize. We've got drawers. Let's see. First one, it doesn't look like a map of Earth. Second one is, let's see, marker switch. The vault is located the island of achieved very easily. Instructions are following each of the markers, turn everyone on position. The final step, turn there to the, so some kind of instructions probably that the father wrote, and he has half of them and the other has, I bet the other brother has half of it. All these maps in this map chest, all the different worlds, some of which look very much like they were written by English-speaking people, or at least similar mentality. What's this one? This looks like a drawing and not a map. Let's see. Drawing of a bunch of dead people, is that it? All the chest drawers closed by themselves, that's good. So we have a thing we can drag, and this. So here we have a rose hologram that slowly turns into a skull hologram. And in the middle it almost looks like a, in the middle it almost looks like it might be the shape of something, like right about there. Impressive, certainly, that you were able to have toys like that in a 20-year-old game, and they did have at least something like that in, maybe not in the original version, maybe in realMyst they were introduced, I don't remember. If somebody's an expert at the different versions of Myst, let me know in the comments. But I've certainly seen those toys before, and toys are about all you can call them. They're little things you can play with that may or may not have a impact at all on the game. Still rainy and dark out here. I think it's always going to be rainy and dark, which is a shame. Real shame. I think in Riven and Myst 3, if I'm remembering correctly, you didn't have any of that element, the day-night weather system. I think you're better off for a puzzle game if you just like ignore the fact that those things could exist, just for the sake of the player's sanity, because they need light desperately. Desperately do I need light. I don't want to play any puzzle games. It happens a lot in games in general, but I just don't want to play any games where I'm having to struggle to see things. So we've drained things here, and there's a valve here, so we can go ahead and drain this chest. And then we'll shut it off, and all that water will now be empty. I can't open the chest, of course, but what I can do is, now that it has no water in it, maybe I have changed its specific weight, and maybe it will now float. If I'm lucky, that will be the case. I don't know why I say if I'm lucky. I've played this game before. I kind of know what I'm doing. Yeah, if I didn't know the solutions, at least somewhat superficially, we wouldn't have made it this far, this fast. It could have been a long, long time before any progress was made. So the chain, not a problem here to unlock that chest. To then get this key into here. Nice little animations there. And we can get up there. But there is an achievement that can be gotten too if we go and drain this area a second time. Now that the key and the lock have fallen into the water, with a splash. Now for me particularly, this isn't too dark, but I know for you on YouTube it's gonna be dark. YouTube has a terrible tendency to make things look really, really dark, and particularly if you're watching it like on an Xbox app, the Xbox 360 app made things really, really dark. So, and if you're watching it on TV, that certainly isn't gonna help. I guess I can't do anything more. I could try and fill the thing up with water, but the key and the lock go down there. Not that it really matters, but that's the achievement, so we do it for the achievement. I guess it's an interesting question, is when would I next want to play Myst? If they come out with a new version in VR, and I had VR, I could say to myself, that sounds like an interesting concept. If they brought it out and it looked way better than this, which it's possible. I mean, this came out in 2014, it's 2016, so 3 years of working on something could potentially just give you a new render, take up more space on the hard drive, take advantage of better graphics drivers and graphics cards. All of those things are, I guess, feasible. I just turned that thing and generated power, so I'm hoping now I have charged up the what is this be? The room that was blaring at us. So I could see in like 2 or 3 years, but it's much more realistic, 5 years to, hey, everything's lit up now. Now that I charged it. I hope this isn't timed, so I have to run in this room very quickly. This is lit up. It's not yelling at me. That's good to know. Right. So one wrong answer. One wrong answer is all it takes. Okay, we know what to do. We don't have to particularly drain or redrain this area. That's the good part. But the bad part is we are now combining somewhat the concept of rotating the tower with the concept of electricity, which we haven't done that puzzle together. I did not realize how connected all these puzzles are. They kind of reinforce the same thing over and over again. So, I want 135 degrees. That's the only man-made looking object. And it's the only lit up thing, so that would also make sense, wouldn't it? So we know it's 135. No, it just occurred to me, there's probably some really big fans of Myst that might take some umbrance to how I'm playing. You just click on this with the left mouse button to rotate it. By the way, you don't drag. It's kind of a shame. See, I'm trying to drag, it doesn't work. But yeah, I guess it's true for any game that's beloved, particularly a game that was one of the best games for a decade. That certainly could be the case. I'm a fan of Myst. I played Myst several times, but I am also a critic, so I'll have to be critical of it. There's definitely some problems with just the gameplay style in this game. It is the old way of making video games. It's not tutorializing. It doesn't have a consistent gameplay loop. Every puzzle is a little bit different and not super obviously connected to other puzzles. Everything is really difficult. There's not enough story here. There's not enough characterizations and dialogues. They did the best they could 20 years ago when they made this, sure, but a lot of things have changed since then. So, if this is 0, then this will be 90. And then 90 plus 45 puts us either at this one or this one. Because 90 plus divided in half is 45. 90 and 45 is 35. I gotta say this one. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Let's double check. Let's go charge this electricity and then look after we've charged everything in the telescope and see if that does anything different. What we might also want to do is check the other room, because we haven't found anything in that other room, and maybe when the electricity is on, we'll find something. Why you would bolt the generator over here makes no sense except for a puzzle. It's like, these worlds don't feel like real worlds, and that's to its benefit. I enjoy that concept. I really sets the mind flying when you think somebody probably just made this entire world for these puzzles, and these puzzles alone. I see something over here is lit up. $135. Maybe I'm supposed to just hit the cross. Though. That wouldn't make any sense though. Like, let's turn off the flashlight. Look, the flashlight's affecting the... Let's see. We'll go full circle just to make sure. That one kind of makes sense. 185 would be 50 degrees more, but not really. It seems so obvious. Just across. If I hold down the button, it seems to move me faster. I didn't realize that. Interesting. And square, red square. Is there any way whatsoever I could see what? So it's either this or I'm supposed to do 4. Nice. Now we have the whole area lit well. And the music starts playing. And what would be really nice is if that brought out the sun. If we are now gonna just have this sunny drizzle clear up as we walk out. Nope. That'd be nice though. We can see here this area is lit up. So we started right on that boat. You gotta suck the water out. And we've got that lit up. And how long have we been going? We still got 10 minutes. Interesting that we're almost spending an hour on every single world. Kind of means I might actually finish this a little shorter than I realized. And the Myst book just comes right out of the table. All of a sudden just magic is happening. And we don't get a real explanation for it. Oh well, back to the library we go. Now I think the game is going to tell us when we have one more page to give to each person, so we won't pick the wrong person. So let's go ahead and give the blue page to the blue book, and then we'll go back and get the red page and give it to the red book.
Ah, good. Still more blue pages, you bastard. Bring more. I must have some more. That's all I ask of you. Long. It's been so long since my brother, Sirrus, wrongfully imprisoned me within this book. Stupid schemes. Pretty speech has been greed, which is endless. It should be perfectly obvious to you. He's done evil and he has destroyed all before. Do not bring the red pages to him. You must not let him trick you. He believed you. He tricked our father. Hideously murdered our father. He'll trick you. He'll murder you. Don't touch the red pages. I beg you to bring the blue pages. To me, listen, you must obey me. Blue pages are my only hope. You must help me. You must help me.
So he says the brother did it and murdered the father and trapped him. He's obviously crazy, but that doesn't mean he's wrong. We do see a massive amount of greed as we are here in the nighttime of Myst Island. It's super dark. We do see he does seem greedy. It's believable. It's not so I imagine though what really happened is they both trapped each other and only one of them actually killed the father at all. Sorry for the pause there. I dropped my controller that my microphone's plugged into. I thought for a second I may have lost audio. I am not particularly in a great setup for playing with the keyboard and mouse. I'm sitting in a reclining chair, have the mouse pad and keyboard on each knee. So we need that red page. And whenever I am playing keyboard and mouse, that means my Xbox 360 controller that's plugged in with the headset, which is what I record from, sadly. I need better equipment. Whenever that thing gets knocked to the floor or budged, it unplugs half the time. There's the red page. Right? Yep. There, we got the red page now. I have to admit the brother does have style, at least. And let's think about these worlds for a second. If they are made by the father doesn't really have a super fancy style. It would be very interesting to see what kind of worlds each one of the sons would have made, because it seems like the greedy one would have made like opulent, high technology worlds, like gold everywhere, solid oak furniture and stuff, whereas the crazy brother would have almost certainly made primal animals everywhere, maybe trees and thorns and all of that all together. Whereas it feels like the father, he mostly just makes mechanical things, that he's too mechanically minded and doesn't put any real appearance into it. Now there may be reasons to it, and if it is true that these worlds we're entering are actual worlds that existed before, and they only have the ability to travel to them from their Myst place, it may simply be the fact that he doesn't create anything. He's just reflecting what was already there, and whoever, if there was some species or something there in the beginning, they constructed things the way they wanted. Or maybe the father goes to new lands, there's nothing but raw material there, like iron and trees and stuff, and he just builds what his mind tells him he wants to build, which would be very mechanical. So, let's see what the red page will say this time. Still don't want to free either one of them, but this is the only way to beat the game, which is kind of a bad system, really. It's like, you cannot be satisfied with this game at all unless you do something that's really kind of anti-logical. It's like, even from the beginning, they both seemed a little crazy. And when you see the father's message at the very beginning and it says don't help either one of them, then you kind of don't know what to do. If the father's message wasn't there, that would help a lot. If the brothers seemed sane for most of the game, that would help a lot. If it was just a big twist at the end, that would help. But it's really on the nose from the word go.
Have returned. Additional page. Free from my prison on this forgotten island of Myst.
So the island's called
I
Myst.
see that you are.
What is it called? The island of Myst.
I am called Sirrus.
I wish I had normal names.
Ages. I know. Must search and bring 2 more for the red. I am released. I promise. Don't touch the blue pages. That is where for my wicked brother,
Aganon.
He is a man of distorted mind and senses. He disgusts me. Do not release Agnar. Thirst for destruction is not never ending. Bring the red paper. Beg you, please release me from this prison. Promise you will be greatly rewarded. Must help me. Help me.
So it should be pretty obvious this game has multiple endings, and we'll look through them all. So that's 2 puzzles down, and we just need to now rotate to the next puzzle. 3 here. See, I think I heard him say you needed 2 more pieces. That doesn't make sense because, well, I guess there are only 2 more places that can be activated, it seems like. Because we already did the puzzle here. Spoiler alert, this puzzle and this puzzle are connected. And this, I think, may be connected to that too. Or it's all by itself. So we started here, it rotates this way, and so this is the next location to check out. And so, what I want to do before we wrap up here, it's quite interesting that we're making such good time. I honestly thought this was a series that would go for 30 hours, but that was just a random guess. According to howlongtobeat.com, this game is only 7 hours long anyways. And at this rate, probably not even going to be that long. Now that simply because I know all the solutions and everything. I want to come up here just real quickly and see what the code is in case I need to write it down. Here we can see trees out there. I wish that the sun would come out. The sun will come out tomorrow. I'm not gonna sing, don't worry. But it's, yeah, the day-night cycle, it's really, really bad. There you go, 724. Not difficult to remember at all. 724, as in like the opposite of 24/7. That's not difficult at all. What is difficult is staying in there. So I can definitely attest that when I first played Myst, it was a lot longer to get through those two sections. A lot longer. A lot of pushing buttons the wrong way. This is one of those games that benefits a lot for me having played it before. I've done that on a couple of games where it's like I've already played it, so I already know the solutions. And even some of the games I've played them and then talked about them after I played them the first time, on a few rare occasions. And then sometimes I go the opposite direction and I play them and then play some more off screen because they take so much focus or skill or so much time to beat levels that it's not worth it for me to make recordings of me dying over and over again. So, yeah, we're getting back to sunlight. Nice little view. That's not a good view, actually. I've never really liked this view. I think they could have done better. That was one thing about The Witness, is that he hired architects to help him with level design, and in a weird way it didn't help as much as it should have, but it helped a lot anyways. I think is it Jonathan Blow that made The Witness, I think he constricted their design a little bit. Also, has the time changed on the clock? It says Myst. Ooh, that's interesting. That's new. I don't think the time has changed. That would be nice if it did all the time, but then how would you do the puzzle? You'd have to solve the puzzle and then the clock would just start working. And it's not 2:40 right now, I can tell you that much. And let's see, if it was 2:40, it would have to be 2:40 in the morning on the island for the sun to start to rise, and that's still way too early for the sun to rise unless they're way up in the North Pole or something. So yeah, that doesn't make any sense. What does make sense a little bit here is we are done with this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.